Now these are the views of Rio we were talking about. A brand new counterattack's coming up next. Hi everyone, Greg Mescall here for the Counterattack. As you can see, we're at the seventh wonder of the world here in Rio de Janeiro, Christ the Redeemer, for this week's episode of the Counterattack. Hopefully a little bit better view than what we showed you last week from the hotel room. We're going to jumpstart things with, of course, Olympic coverage. We've finished group play. Unfortunately, things didn't go so well for our men's Olympic team. They're not going to be advancing to the quarterfinal rounds and beyond, so they finished after just 5 games of play. But for the USA women, they're still in the mix. They had a victory in the quarterfinal round, beating host Brazil, and now today they take on Hungary in a huge semifinal match that will determine whether they go on to play for gold or for bronze. We'll have results of all of that next week, and of course you can watch all of the coverage on NBC. But let's get you caught up on how things went so far in Rio for our Olympic teams. We turn first to the women's action, and they did quite the job in pool play. As we told you a little bit about last week, they got off to a hot start. They beat Spain 11-4. That was a rematch of the Olympic final from 2012. They kept it rolling. They defeated China 12-4, then closed things out against Hungary 11-6. That advanced them to the quarterfinals, where they took on the home team Brazil as the action moved to the Olympic Aquatic Stadium. New venue, same result for Team USA, a dominant result, 13-3, as they defeat the Brazilians. And that set the stage for today's crucial match, a semifinal meeting between Team USA and Hungary. The winner goes on to play for gold. After the Brazil win, we caught up with Kelly Gilchrist.
It was really fun just playing in this environment, in this atmosphere, especially Brazil, and you could just feel, we came walking out and they're booing us, and it's fun. It fires you up, and it was amazing. The score said 13-3, but it felt more tough than that. Brazil's a great team, and they put great effort throughout the entire game, and had a few huge goals at the end.
Now, as for the USA men, their time in Rio is complete. They finished Group B play 2-3. As we told you last week, some of the results here, they lost early on. Fell to Croatia 7-5, then Spain 10-9 in 2 tight games. They came back to beat France 6-3, and then in a must-win game, they fell to Montenegro 8-5. After that game, Team USA knew they could not advance, so just playing for pride against Italy, but they came out determined, defeating the Italians 10-7 in what may have been the final match in the Olympic careers of Tony Azevedo, Jessie Smith, and Merrill Moses. After that match, Merrill Moses talking about the result and his time with Team USA.
I just think that every time you jump in the pool at the Olympics, you're representing your country, and you always got to give it your best. And that's what Coach said. That's what me and Tony and Jesse reminded the guys, is that there's something bigger than just our team that we're representing, and give it our all. And this team is a special team and had a lot of talent. And we had some bad bounces, and tournament didn't go our way, but it's nice to go out with the win. It's kind of bittersweet. It's my last game for Team USA.
Well, now we turn our attention to international water polo and the special anniversary. While we're celebrating the Olympics this year, 40 years ago, the first ever international women's water polo match was held between the USA and the Netherlands. They celebrated the anniversary this year out in Hawaii at the annual Hawaiian Invitational. Here's a cool news story, some local Hawaiian news coverage celebrating that anniversary.
100 years after men's water polo became one of the first team sports introduced at the 1900 Olympic Games, the women finally made their debut at the Sydney Olympics in 2000. And part of the journey to getting there involved a tournament that's held annually right here in the Aloha State. Long before women's water polo was added to the Olympics, the Hawaiian Invitational welcomed other nations to participate.
I'm a junior at Punahou, and I hope that we can represent Hawaii water polo really well.
And now we turn back to the women's national team. Hopefully you saw last week Cam Newton playing water polo. You might remember that image from a few months back that circulated all over the internet. People didn't know exactly what was going on with Cam Newton in the water polo pool. Well, now it was realized on Nickelodeon, an episode of All In with Cam. It was explained what he was doing with Team USA at the Joint Forces Training Base in Los Alamitos. Here's a short clip of Cam, an aspiring water polo player, Piper, along with Maggie Steffens and Cammie Craig from Team USA.
To the U.S. Women's National Water Polo Team. And this is the coach, Adam, team captain Maggie Steffens, and Cammie Craig.
Nice to meet you, Piper. I've heard a lot about you. I've never had someone where we actually had to use the lifeguard buoy probably 20 or 30 times. Pipe it up.
Hype it up. Hype it up. There we go.
And now we have some sad news to report from the state of Ohio. The high school water polo season getting underway, and members of the team from Worthington-Kilbourne were headed to a competition when they were involved in a car accident. Sadly, Marist College women's water polo player and former Worthington-Kilbourne athlete Courtney Fisher passed away in the accident. 4 other athletes in the van, members of the Fisher family, as well as other teammates, were seriously injured and are recovering, including 2 of Courtney's siblings. Tough times for the Ohio water polo community. We are keeping the Fisher family and all the athletes involved in our thoughts and prayers. We know this is a tough moment for the Ohio water polo community. Here is some coverage as the community has rallied around the accident and supporting those involved.
Many people are showing their support after a deadly crash that involved some of the Worthington-Kilbourne High School water polo team. So Worthington School Superintendent released this picture on your screen of Betsy Fisher. The 17-year-old was released from the hospital over the weekend. Betsy and some of her teammates were traveling through Henry County on their way to a match when their van crashed with a semi. Sadly, 19-year-old Courtney Fisher did not survive this. She graduated from Worthington-Kilbourne back in 2015. 2 others are still in critical condition this morning.
And now we close things out with our social media send-off, the best of what we've seen this week on the internet. Don't forget to tag us at USAWP and use the hashtag counterattack. And we start things off first with Tony Azevedo. If that game against Italy was his final match, thanking everyone for all of their support. And then Merrill Moses saying as much. It was his last match, as he posted on Twitter and Instagram before the game against Italy. Manned the goal for 3 Olympics for Team USA. Big hockey fan Courtney Matthewson, well, Pierre Maguire, the sideline reporter for the NHL and NBC, but also here in Rio for the NBC water polo coverage, so fitting those 2 hockey fans would get together. Pierre not behind the glass, but poolside. Julie Foudy in the house of the women's water polo match as Team USA picked up a steady celebrity following over the last couple of weeks here in Rio. She was there to cheer on the squad after taking part in that classic Flop Friday video. More on Foudy later. Samuel L. Jackson, every 4 years we can count on the famous actor to cheer on the water polo squads, and he had some support for Team USA. And how about today's show's Al Roker, Team USA, appearing on the Today Show this week, and he's been a fan of the squad, came out and caught some of the game. Saturday Night Live's Leslie Jones, well, she was a hit before coming to Rio, and then took her social media act to Brazil. She was all about the robes. Who doesn't love coming to work wearing a robe? Well, guess what? We got a robe for Leslie, and here was her response.
It's official. I'm part of the water polo team. Yeah, 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 yeah.
More good times in Rio as Tony and pro athlete Coy Wire getting together for a prank. Tony was not aware of this, but fun times had here in Rio.
Ah, thanks, dude.
Are you kidding me?
You get me?
Shut up, dude.
So, Michaela, I had the old ketchup packet, fake blood, and got him.
And more celebrity fun. Christian Slater, well-known actor and current star of the show Mr. Robot, makes Tony Azevedo think twice about hanging it up. Will there be time for Tony to take part in Olympics number 6? Take a look at the video.
Tony Azevedo, it is not his first time to the Olympic rodeo, and you have a particular fan who wanted to say something to you. So I'm going to show you this, and we'll see what you think.
Hey, Tony Azevedo, congratulations. This is your 5th Olympics in water polo. I'm going to try and make it a little tough for you this year, and I'm signing up. Because secretly, it's a skill that I have, and you know, I want to really challenge you to a sixth year. So God bless.
So that was, of course, Christian
awesome.
Slater.
Yeah.
So if you had to give Christian just like 1 or 2 tips, if you were to start training for water polo like tomorrow, what would you tell him to do?
Yeah, look, it's simple. Just try to get in the water around 9 hours a day. Try to get in about 2 hours of gym. Just do that for about 8 years, and I think there might be a chance for you in the water polo world.
We showed you a clip earlier of the Cam Newton All In with Cam episode featuring water polo. Maggie Steffens tweeting out some support for the episode and some of the behind-the-scenes thoughts on filming with the NFL MVP. And it wouldn't be a social media send-off without Flop Friday. The Braves water polo team sent in this video. Check out the second girl here. This is the first flopper who I think just fell in the water. That was pretty funny stuff there. Appreciate their submission. And then we talked about Julie Foudy. Here is the most complete Flop Friday breakdown you'll ever see. Check it out via ESPNW. And last but not least, we know Flop Friday is a national phenomenon in the U.S., but now going global. It made the official Snapchat Rio story, as Sammy Hill shared on her Twitter account, so everyone getting into the Flop Friday madness. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode from Christ the Redeemer in Rio. We'll be back with another episode from Brazil next week. I want to thank everyone for watching, and even right here at the 7th wonder of the world when you're on the counterattack, look week 7.